Greetings. Welcome to the channel. My name is Toon. For the duration of this segment, you guys can call me Holy Toon. Most of you guys probably know me as Toon215, Toon Be Chillin', Toon Dollars, Toon Ski, Toonism. Y'all know me as Toon. Today, I'm going to try something completely new. I'm going to follow through with a divine assignment that was given to me in my head a few weeks ago. Many of you guys may be aware that I've been reading the Bible. I've been doing a lot of learning. I've been trying to understand this book a lot more. So I do my best to read it daily. But I wanted to incorporate this somehow with my viewers. And I wanted to get a more legible, understandable copy that I think is a little bit more user-friendly. So I purchased something called the Action Bible. This is a fully illustrated, colorful Bible. So I'm going to start it with you guys. In life, sometimes when you hear a voice in your head, and it's a positive voice, and you keep hearing it, repeat it day in and day out, you have to follow through with that divine voice. It's a mission. And that's what I plan on embarking on, a mission with you guys. So I want to do this twice a week at minimum. I want to read this with you. I'm going to reposition the camera when we get started. And I'm going to read this Bible with you guys. The most epic story ever told, featuring 128 new pages of illustrations for additional and expanded Bible storylines. The Action Bible presents more than 230 fast-paced narratives in chronological order, making it easy to follow the Bible's historical flow, building up to a thrilling climax of God's redemptive story. The enhanced storyline comes together in the most complete illustrated Bible ever captured in one book. Every page sparks excitement to explore God's word and know him personally. In vivid scenes and simple language, readers of all ages will witness God's active presence in the world through stories from the life of Jesus and great heroes of faith. Let this blend of dramatic imagery and clear storytelling capture your imagination and instill the truth that invites you to discover your own adventure of life with God. Now, what's interesting about this book right here is that the illustrator, the guy who drew this book, his name's Sergio Carrello, I believe, or Carriello. I don't know how you pronounce it. It might have a Hispanic pronunciation. But Sergio has loved drawing since early childhood. He attended the Joe Kubert School of Cartoon and Graphic Arts and the Word of Bible Life Institute, later working for DC Comics and Marvel Comics. So the gentleman, his picture is right here. That gentleman used to work for DC Comics and Marvel Comics, which I think is pretty cool. Hence the illustration. I don't know if you guys can see, it's like comic book style. So that's why I thought it would be pretty cool to read this with you guys. Now, as I mentioned, I've been on my own personal journey reading this Bible right here. Now, I had this Bible since I was about 15. For reference, I turned 37 next month. I had this Bible since I was 15 years old. And this Bible right here, no illustrations. No illustrations at all. I mean, you might find a map or two, but I had this for quite some time. And I began digging deeper into it since the year started. So we'll get started with this in about 5 minutes. This is the introduction to the series. I want to finish this with you guys. I bought it a few weeks ago and I have never read it. I mean, I read the cover, skimmed through like a page or two in the beginning, but I've never read it. So I don't know what to expect. Yeah, this is a new chapter in my life. In the beginning of the year, I announced to myself that I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this daily. Now, when I mean this, I meant this. That's what I have been doing. I've been doing my best to apply my willpower, apply the ability to stick to something. If you guys are familiar with me, you guys know that I kind of have a habitual nature. When I start something, I kind of get fixated on finishing it. So I'm fixated on finishing that Bible over there. But I just added something new to the mix, which is more for you guys, me keeping you guys in mind, because I wanted some of you guys to join me on this journey. Now, this is going to be a little bit complicated because I'm going to reposition the camera over the book and I'm going to try to read it while you guys are able to look at the artwork, because I think that makes sense for you guys to look at the artwork at the same time. The closer you get to God, the closer you get to your spiritual connection, the more complications, rocks, stones, hurdles you'll receive along the way. The closer you find divine peace and you make a connection with your higher self, the more everything and everyone around you is going to be used to distract you from your journey. But there's many stories in the Bible that are written in a similar fashion. Whereas people got closer and closer to their divine selves, they were tested and tested and tested and tested again and again and again to see if they would push away or if they would shun God or shun the higher power, or if they would give up, or if they would blame God for whatever they're going through. But at the end of the day, it's a test, right? So I think this is going to be one of my biggest tests. Let's get started, guys. Please forgive me. I haven't live streamed in a couple months, right? A couple months. And the first live stream back, we're looking at a Bible, huh? All right, guys. So I'm going to reposition the camera, get you guys comfortable here. Hopefully you guys got good audio. I'm sorry, I'm not reading the comments. I'm like, you know what I mean? What's up? What's up, JB? What's up, Super Spy? What's up, Tess? What's up? What's your story? Hope you guys got pretty good audio. I have a microphone on, so I'm hoping you guys can hear me clearly. Never give up, never surrender. I don't know what to expect, guys. This is something completely new for me as far as sharing spiritual journeys with you guys, the viewers, because I know this is a really controversial subject. But let's go with it. Let's roll the dice, right? All right, so I'm going to point the camera down. Please forgive me. It's going to be a little bit shaky to begin with. I'm going to point the camera down. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can get you guys here comfortably. Hopefully you guys can see. If not, I do apologize. This is like a prototype. This is one of the first live stream Bible studies that we're going to be participating in. I'll get some feedback at the end of the Bible study. Let me set my timer. Preferably, we should keep this Bible study to about an hour. I'll talk to you guys at the end of the stream, whether, we should do them Mondays, Wednesdays, and so on. We'll figure out the days of the week that's more convenient for you guys. All right, so The Action Bible. Check it out. And it's probably in reverse, right? Dang, y'all probably seen it in reverse, but it's cool. I'll do the reading. You guys just look at the artwork. God's redemptive story. This Bible was, I believe, like $20, $21, $22 with tax. Over here it says $32.99 by Christ Studios. So I guess it has some sort of a scroll type artwork here in case you want to present this to somebody as a gift, somebody in your family. You can write their name here and present it to, from, and then the date that you got it for them or they got it for you. The Action Bible. Down here you got the lion. You got some pharaohs, some biblical characters. Somebody with a staff. Is that Moses? Illustrations by Sergio Carrello. We're just gonna call him Carrello. All right, so we have a table of contents. The table of contents has the Old Testament, creation. Then it has fathers of the faith. Then it has the life of Joseph. You got camels and all of that up there. I don't know if y'all can see camels. You got the ark. Check it out, Noah's Ark. You got all the animals and all of that cool stuff. Remember? I don't know if you guys remember, but we'll probably get into that story later down the line. But when they take two of each animal, put it in the ark. Moses. Pretty cool illustrations. Really colorful. Oh man, check this out. It's crazy, right? Joshua, God's judges, the kings, the prophets. The exiles, the New Testament, Jesus' birth and ministry. Wow, check out this artwork right here. This artwork is incredible. You could tell that he was working with comic books because the style of art. Oh man, look at that. Jesus' final days. Check it out. Wow. All right, guys. So here we begin. If you have to turn your camera or your phone sideways, feel free to do so. I'm sorry about the unprofessionalism that we're experiencing here. This is one of the first types of streams that I'm doing like this, so I don't really know what to expect. And if I read anything incorrectly, please forgive me. You guys know I have a speech impediment, so naturally I stutter, but I'm going to be trying to read and narrate for you guys at the same time, so just a little disclaimer. In the beginning, based on Genesis 1 through 2. In the beginning, there was nothing except God. Day 1, God's spirit moved through the void. Then God spoke, "Let there be light." So as you can see, it's just an empty void of nothingness. So in the beginning, there was nothing except God. On day 2, then God separated the waters of the nothingness into the moisture and clouds of the sky above, and the drops and the waves of the ocean below. God named the sky heavens. On day 3, God named the lower waters the sea. He gathered together the waters of the sea, exposing dry ground. He named the dry land earth. On this land, he made grass and flowers and trees. He made them with seeds so they can grow more grass and flowers and trees. The fruitful earth was a place of beauty. You can see the trees, the clouds. On day 4, then God fashioned the sun. the moon, and the stars. I'm sorry. And the stars to light the earth. And he set them in the heavens to mark the days, seasons, and years. So we have a sun illustration here. And we're starting to see some stars and whatnot. Day 5, God said, let the water be filled with living creatures, and the seas and the rivers swarmed with whales and fish. God said, let birds fly through the sky. And the open sky above the earth was filled with every kind of flying bird. Be fruitful and fill the earth, God said, as he blessed the living creatures of the sea and sky. And God knew that it was good. And God knew that it was good. So we're following along chronologically. In the beginning, there was nothing except God. On day 2, he separated the waters and created the heavens. On day 3, he created the lower waters, which he created the sea. Day 4, God fashioned the sun, the moon, the stars, the light, the earth. Day 5, he created the animals that's in the sea, the fish, the whales, and all the living creatures. On day 6, then God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures. And God made all kinds of animals, wild ones, tame ones, even those that crawl on the ground. Then God created the first man, Adam, and the first woman, Eve. They were the greatest of all God's creations because he made them in his own image. To be a reflection of what he is like, God made Adam and Eve with souls that would live forever. And he planned for people to rule and live in harmony with everything on earth. Or I should say with every living thing on earth. I'm sorry, guys. I'm about 1.5 feet away from the book and I'm wearing these glasses. So I'm kind of looking at it a little blurry, but I'll make it work. So on day 6, that's when he created all of the living creatures. So we have horses, bears, ox, elephants. I see little deers, ducks, chickens, roosters, gorillas, giraffes, and so on. And then you got Adam and Eve all the way back here. They look like little cave people. You kind of see more of Adam. You see just Eve's silhouette. It's like a shadow. On day 7, and on the 7th day, God rested. So you got Adam and Eve right here. They're next to the water. God showed Adam and Eve the beauty and the fruitfulness of the garden they lived in. He told them, you may eat from every tree except the one tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you eat from that tree, you will die. So you understand? So in the beginning, he created the earth and all of the living things in it in 1 week. On day 7, which is the Holy Sabbath, which is the 7th day, because biblically, the first day was Sunday. Then Monday's the second day. Then Tuesday's the third day, and so on. Saturday is day 7, which is the Holy Sabbath, which is technically the day that you're supposed to take off to rest because that's when God took off to rest. You're supposed to always take off that day of the week to rest and recharge your body. Technically, you're not supposed to do anything financially connected. You're not supposed to make money. You're not supposed to work, hustle, do any of that. You're supposed to just, enjoy yourself, relax, praise the higher power. And you can do your hobbies, things like that. So like if you like playing cards, if you like, puzzling, if you like reading books, you can do those type of things, but you're not supposed to do heavy labor. So he told Adam and Eve, all the seeds on the earth are yours. You can eat from all the seeds. However, do not eat from the tree of knowledge, which is good and evil. Now, I believe that might be this tree right here that's next to Adam and Eve. Now, they had a whole garden, though, with all fruits and vegetables. Tempted in the garden, based on Genesis 3. So now we're going to have some dialogue. So I'm going to do my best to follow along with the dialogue, ladies and gentlemen. So it looks like the female character, which is Eve, is saying, look, Adam, the little bird. comes when I call. And then Adam says, God is good to us. He has given us everything. So you see the monkeys on the trees, the birds, all the elephants and zebras, rabbits. Over here, you have Adam and Eve again, and they're next to that tree. So for the next session, I'm gonna get a pointer because I don't like having my finger in every shot. So Eve says, everything except the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And then Adam says, yes, that is forbidden. But Eve wonders, and one day she goes to the tree and gazes at the forbidden fruit. Here's the forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit looks like apples. And there goes Eve. She being nosy. She pondering. She doing something she shouldn't be doing. She's getting tempted. That's when temptation starts. So over here, you have the serpent. Look at the serpent. The serpent's a snake. And look it looks like he had arms. Did the snake have arms in the beginning of time? Then wouldn't that be considered like a lizard or like a skink? If you Google a skink, skink, that's a lizard that looks like a snake, but he has arms. But in this case, it's a serpent. Satan in the form of a serpent tempts Eve. You ready? This is Satan talking. Are you sure God said not to eat this fruit? You see him playing with her thoughts, playing with her, with her mind. It's a trap. Eve said, oh yes, if we even touch it, we'll die. And then the serpent says, oh, you won't die if you touch it. See? And if you eat it, you will be wise, just like God. So she touches it. Look at Eve disobeying God. She touched it. And then she says, you're right. And if this fruit will make me wise, surely there's no harm in taking just one bite. So Eve believes a complete stranger, technically an animal, in this case, a serpent, which is some snake with arms, but that's Satan in the form of a serpent. She touches it and she's agreeing. She's saying, surely if I take one bite, it shouldn't cause me no harm if it's just one bite. So she, I'm assuming, takes a bite because over here she says, Adam, it tastes delicious. So she runs to her husband, Adam. Now, this didn't get too deep into the introduction, but as far as where Adam and Eve, the starting foundation of when he made them within the 7 days, Eve was made from man's rib. Eve comes from the rib of Adam. Adam is the head of the relationship. Eve is the protector of the heart. She's the woman. There goes where woman, the man comes from woman. So he should have led her away, but what does he do? He takes a bite. Eve says, and it will make you wise. And look at Adam. He listened. He listened to his wife. He didn't even put up a fight. He sinned with her. So over here you have Adam and Eve. But the forbidden fruit has far different effects than the serpent promised. Suddenly, Adam and Eve realize they have disobeyed God. Their innocence is taken away as well. We're not wise. We're just naked. That's what Eve said. Cover yourself with these leaves. We must hide. So they were butt naked in the Garden of Eden. But after they took a bite of that apple, now they're self-conscious. Now they don't have that innocence. They don't have that, because back then people didn't wear clothes. They were naked. At that time during Adam and Eve, they were naked. They were just out there doing their thing. In the stillness of the garden, God comes to Adam and Eve. How did you know you were naked? Have you eaten the fruit that I told you not to eat? Eve said, I only ate it because, oh, I'm sorry. Adam said, I only ate it because the woman you gave me handed it to me. So what did he do? What did Adam do? First red flag. Adam blamed Eve. He didn't take responsibility and own up to him biting it on his own. What did he do? He blamed his wife. But wait, Eve says, the serpent you created tricked me. Now she's deflecting. Now she's not taking ownership. Now she's blaming the serpent. So husband and wife, they're deflecting off of one another and nobody's taking responsibility. Nobody's owning up to it. So now he blamed his wife, but she is blaming the serpent. But him as the leader, he should have led them both to a path of righteousness. But unfortunately, by the time Adam got to Eve, Eve was already being attacked by the devil, aka Satan, which is in this case is the serpent. So although biblically he's supposed to lead her into a path of righteousness, he was too late. He was way too far gone. Now God says, because you disobeyed me, you must leave this beautiful garden. From now on, you have to work hard to survive. God makes clothes for Adam and Eve out of animal skins and sends them away. So in the beginning, man wasn't supposed to work. Humans were not supposed to work in the beginning. You know how we got to work a 9 to 5? You know how we got to work for our money and we got to pay bills. And in the beginning, we were not supposed to work. You see, because you disobeyed me, you must leave this beautiful garden. From now on, you'll have to work hard to survive. So you got Adam and Eve holding hands running. God makes clothes for Adam and Eve out of animal skins and sends them away. That's when we started wearing clothes. Over here, you have what looks to be like a set of angels with a sword, and they each have their swords. Adam and Eve say, look, a flaming sword blocks the entrance to the garden. We can never go back now. And then Eve says, where can we go? What can we do? God's promise of salvation, the perfect unity between God and his beloved creation, is now broken for all time. Adam and Eve are forced to create a new life out of their knowledge and shame. But already, God has a plan to redeem his creation. God promises that one day he will send a savior for his people. Now, one thing we must make note of here, which I don't know if you guys are fully aware of what just took place, but in the beginning, when he created the Garden of Eden, which was full of fruits and seeds and all of that stuff, and he gave them the animals to live side by side. Humans had, or let's say Adam and Eve, in this case, before all the humans, the bloodlines were created, Adam and Eve had dominion over the fowl, the sea creatures, the land animals, etc., right? But it doesn't say nothing about eating them. In the beginning, the Garden of Eden, he said, eat of all the seeds. He never said eat of the animals. That doesn't come till later on in the line. But that's very interesting that in the beginning, we had a bunch of fruits and vegetables. So low key, like if you think about it, Adam and Eve, they were originally vegan. They were originally like vegetarian, I guess. I just wanted to slide that in there because that's kind of crazy, like when you think about it, right? All right, next. Brothers' blood cry, based on Genesis 4-5. Outside the Garden of Eden, the land is barren, hot, and dry, weary, alone, and frightened. Adam and Eve search until they find a place to make a home. Remember how beautiful Eden was? If only. That's what Eve said. Yeah, but she didn't want to listen. She wanted to do her own thing. She wanted to get tempted. Adam says, it is our own fault for disobeying God, but I would teach our children to obey and love God. If I can help it, they won't repeat our mistake. So at this point, It looks like they're making their own little house. You see, they got like wood and all of that stuff. I guess he's trying to like pitch a, I wouldn't say pitch a tent, but pitch a roof. She's over there, looks like she's folding blankets. He's over here, looks like he's building a house. So Adam teaches their sons, Cain and Abel, about God. God made the earth and everything we have. That's what he's telling his son. His son says, God even gave me a little lamb. Check it out. So he got a little lamb. And then over here, I guess this is Eve. And over here, you have the other son, and the other son saying, sheep are dumb. So I guess this is going to introduce the story of Cain and Abel. Abel was Adam and Eve's son. They had two boys, but Abel was the more righteous one. Cain was the rebellious one. You can see he says sheep are dumb. Now, technically, in the original Bible, he doesn't say sheep are dumb, but you know they're trying to make it more people friendly here. So over here, it says, "How can I thank him?" And then Adam says, "When you're older, Abel, you can give God the best of your flock. He told us we should make sacrifices to show our thankfulness." As the boys grow to manhood, Abel plans for the day when he can give his thanks offering to God. But Cain thinks, oh, I'm sorry, but Cain thinks only of his crops. If Abel gives God a sacrifice, I'll have to offer one too. So let's talk about the sacrificing, because the sacrificing is very interesting. So what I've learned about the sacrificing is everything costs a sacrifice. Everything. Everything. If you give me a piece of corn, you had to sacrifice time to get that piece of corn, right? If I give you a glass of water, I had to sacrifice something to get that glass of water, right? So even when we do wrong and when we sin, there's a sacrifice on the other end of it that has to be paid. So throughout the Bible, you're going to see forms of sacrifices or offerings to some, I wouldn't say pay like as a form of redemption, but let's continue forward. As the boys grow to manhood, Abel plans for the day when he can give his thank offering to God. But Cain thinks only of his crops. If Abel gives God a sacrifice, I'll have to offer one too. Over here, you have him in front of the fire. Looks like a little bonfire. God is pleased with Abel's gift, but Cain's grudging spirit displeases God. Why should God be happy with Abel and not with me? It's not fair. So you already have Cain hating on his brother. Cain is despising his brother, his own blood brother, his own sibling. He got a mad face. As long as Abel is around, he'll always be the favorite. That's Cain over here hating. You got Cain over here in this corner already plotting on his own brother. You got his brother with the sheep. God told me I could choose to have power over my sin, but I'd rather choose to have power. What? I'm sorry. But I'd rather choose not to have a brother. Wow. Let me read that again. I'm sorry for giggling and laughing. It's taking me a little bit to process this. As long as Abel is around, he'll always be the favorite. God told me I could choose to have power over my sin, but I'd rather choose not to have a brother. So he has a bat or like a mallet, large piece of wood, and you got his brother over here with the sheep. Cain gives into his jealousy and kills his brother. Now I just need to pretend I don't know anything about Abel's death. So Cain killed Abel, his own brother, And now he's going to pretend like he knows nothing of it. But God calls out to Cain. Remember, God watches it all. God watched it from the beginning. Cain, where is your brother? I, 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 I don't know. Am I supposed to keep track of my brother? Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. From now on, the ground will yield no fruit for you, and you will wander the earth until your death. Cain over here says, he knows. So over here, Cain realizes what he's done and says, please, God, this punishment is more than I can take. So you got him over here. This is Cain. This is Cain. So God's sentence is carried out. Cain flees to a land called Nod. Eventually, he will get married, start a family, and build the first city, which he will name for his son Enoch. But in the meantime, Adam and Eve are heartbroken over losing both of their sons. Our house is so empty now, Adam. Will we always be alone like this? We brought this tragedy onto ourselves. So did Cain. But God has been good to us. Let us ask him to help us now. All right, so let's say a little footnote. Let me something just like a light bulb clicked on, and I want to explain this to you, right? So you know that they sinned. Really, it was Eve's fault, like low key, like she started. This goes to show you that women from the very beginning, women didn't listen. Women disobeyed orders. But but on a side note, right? So they sinned, right? They had Abel and they had Cain. You know how you're like, I don't know if you ever looked at a baby and you know how they say babies look so innocent, but because of Adam and Eve's sin, even babies are born in sin. We're all born sinners, right? For example, you can't choose your race, you can't choose your gender, you can't choose your ethnicity, right? You're just born. If you're Irish, you're born Irish. If you're a guy, you're born a guy. You know, if you can't pick those type of details, right? You can't pick if you're a sinner or not because it's in the bloodline. So they sinned. One of their kids came out jealous. That sin was in his blood. So he grew up, he ended up being jealous of his own brother. And throughout the Bible, what you're going to learn is that sin keeps on getting passed down from generation to generation and generation to generation. So over here, hopefully you guys are able to follow along with me. Over here, in time, God gives Adam and Eve a third son. We'll call him Seth. This is Seth. And we'll teach him to obey God the way Abel did. Seth learns to obey God. Two of his descendants are Enoch, who walked with God, and Methuselah, who died at the age of 969, the oldest person who have ever lived. Now, another thing too that you'll learn about biblical days in the earlier times is that people lived extremely long ages, like 969 years old. Now, there's a debate. A lot of people like sometimes they say, "Is that literal?" Like nobody really lives to 969 years old. And me, I'll be completely honest with you. In the beginning, like years ago, I would be a great skeptic of these ages and some of these biblical stories. It's like, come on, dude, like this sounds like it's from a fairy tale land, right? But you have to keep in mind that during that time, during the beginning, there wasn't the disease that lies today. There wasn't diseases. The blood was more pure. So the possibilities of living longer, I can see it making sense. Now, 969 sounds astronomically high, but let's continue going. So Methuselah, which was Adam and Eve's third son, I'm sorry, not third son. That should have been their grandson because Seth was the third son, and then Seth, his descendants were Enoch and Methuselah. And Methuselah died, so that would have been their grandson. Their grandson Methuselah was the oldest person who ever lived. As generations pass, however, people turn away from God. They lie, cheat, and murder. Look at, you got people over here stabbing other people. You got people over here, look at them running. They worship the sun and the moon and the stars, and they bow down before idols. Check it out. Bowing down before false idols. But there is one man, Noah, who looks on the sinfulness of the world with fear. How long will God allow this wickedness to continue? This looks like Noah over here. Over here, you have people getting drunk. You have people chasing. Look at, they're chasing a girl down over here. I don't even know if y'all can see. They're chasing a girl down over here. Look at, they're beating this girl. They're over here worshiping false gods. But there's one man, Noah, who was like, Noah knew something wasn't right. He was wondering, like, God, when you going to come down and fix this? Now, there's another thing, too. God doesn't fix nothing. In the beginning, he gave us free will. He gave us the will to do and choose as we please. If he controlled our will and he made things perfect, then we would be living in a false fabricated reality. So, although he has the ability to make it as blissful and perfect as it was in the Garden of Eden, that's not what he's going to do, because man has free will. So these people over here that's stabbing, that's drinking, that's worshiping false idols, that's their will. That's their choice. You see, as people continue breeding and people and the descendants kept sinning and sin kept getting passed down from bloodline to bloodline, it just got worse and worse and worse. Over here, rainy days, based on Genesis 6-7. Your wickedness cannot continue. Turn away from your idol worship. Return to God who created you and gave us everything we have. Look at somebody over here saying, God didn't give me everything I have. I stole it. That's literally what he says. he straight up said, I stole it, and he laughs. Noah thinks he's better than everyone else. So this is Noah. So you got everybody hating on Noah now. Now, mind you, all these people come from Adam and Eve. All these people are descendants of Adam and Eve, because in the beginning there was Adam and Eve. So is Noah. You understand? Every couple generations, you learn biblically, you'll get this one righteous or pretty close to righteous man, because Noah was a drunkard, wasn't he? But you'll get people who are fairly God-fearers, God-fearing every now and then in the Bible. And Noah was one of those gentlemen. Noah remains true to God. One day, God speaks to him. I'm sorry that I ever made humans. They are corrupt and violent. So I'm going to destroy them, Noah. You have been faithful. Build yourself a ship, because I'm going to flood the whole earth. So that's God talking to Noah. Now, remember earlier I said he has the ability to make things bliss and to do a total reset, basically. If he wanted to stop all, crime, violence, murder, sexual assaults, and so on and so on. If he wanted to stop it, technically, he could do a hard reset, but that would be controlling our willpower. Well, the one and only hard reset that he's ever did, which he said that he would never do again after this had took place, was the flood. This flood, this great flood, which is why he told Noah, he said, yo, Noah, low key, he basically said, look, you believe in me. Since you believe in me and you don't have a corrupt heart, I'm giving you the heads up. Build an ark. I'm going to flood earth. And this is when he tells him to take 2 of all the animals. Let's go. Noah obeys and begins building an ark. He follows the instructions that God gives him. That's crazy. Noah thinks he can float a boat on dry land. What will he think of next? So you got all the disbelievers, the naysayers, people not believing him. Now, there's a pretty good movie about this. If you guys want to watch it, it's like a comedy movie. You got Evan Almighty. You got Bruce Almighty and Evan Almighty. Those are 2 good movies. I think Bruce Almighty is with Jim Carrey, And Evan Almighty is with the dude from The Office. I forgot his name, and he's from 40-Year-Old Virgin. Watch it. If you have the, if you're into this whole story right here, watch Evan Almighty. That in Evan Almighty, the dude builds an ark. Nobody believes him. He collects all the animals because he hears from God. I think Morgan Freeman plays God in Evan Almighty. It's a pretty cool movie. It's like a comedic twist, Hollywood's comedic twist on this story right here. But check it out sometime. Evan Almighty. So over here you have the ark. Now it's coming from panel to panel. That's quite a fast pace to build an ark. I think it took a really long time. I'm not gonna pretend like I know the exact days and time. It does say it in the real Bible over here that I have on my right side, but I'm not gonna open it up right now. But it took him a fairly good amount of time for him to build that. Over here it says, when the ark is finished, God tells Noah to take 7 pairs of each kind of animal and bird that is used for food, and 1 pair of each that is not used for food. Noah and his family enter the ark. So he's told to take 7 pairs of each animal, some that are used for food and some that are not used for food. Now, in the sense of when he's saying some that are used for food, some animals are carnivorous, right? Some animals eat it. For example, a lion, if you put a lion on a boat with deers and zebras and so on, and they're hungry, what do you think is going to happen, right? And so on. So some is for food purposes. There's a lot of prey and predator on the boat. And then some are for rebreeding purposes. So you can continue to have a fresh bloodline when the flood goes away. So you got the illustration. Check it all out. So over here, we're at the flood. Check it out. Now I've seen everything. Old Noah spent 120 years building that huge ship, but he never thought about who would close the door. 120 years building a ship. Now, if that ain't dedication, I don't know what is. Now, if you watch the movie Evan Almighty, I think he does it in like 60 days, or probably less than that. It don't take 120 years, but that goes to show you people nowadays don't even live to 120 years. And Noah spent 120 years building the ark. So over here, you got these guys just talking about him. Either he's crazy or he knows something we don't. Don't start preaching like Noah. So this dude's starting to think like, hold on, Noah probably knows something. And this dude's like, come on, man. Like, he's a crackpot. A few days later, the winds of the heaven open and the rains pour down. Flood waters rise rapidly. Maybe Noah's right about his ark. You got people down here now, they're freaking out. Don't worry, there's never been enough water here to float a boat like that before. Yes, but it's also never rained like this before. So people are starting to panic. Noah's up there with his boat and everybody's panicking. Look, the door of Noah's ark is closing. So now everybody's getting nervous. But who is shutting it? Could it be Noah's God? Because, dude over here made a comment. He said he made that big old boat, but he never thought like who's going to close the door, which kind of makes sense. Like low key, like that kind of makes sense. Like who's going to close it when it starts flooding? Like if you're going to be on the inside, who's going to close it from the outside? But evidently, God closed the door. But it is too late. The people who have spent their lives rejecting God now see that God has finally rejected them. The rains pour steadily for 40 days and 40 nights. 40 days and 40 nights, guys. Wow. And you can see it raining, it's flooding, and everything on earth perishes. Everything on earth perishes and no longer lives. Water flows over the land and rises above the mountaintops. All the earth is covered. Only Noah's great ark survives. The flood destroys everything evil. So this was the great reset. That was the one time that he reset because this hurt him. And he said that he never wanted to do it again since this. Meanwhile, as the rain pours steadily outside the ark, Noah and his wife and his 3 sons and their wives tend to the animals inside the ark. Have you fed the animals yet today? That's what Noah said. I fed the cows and the sheep, and now I'm heading to feed the reptiles. And I am off to clean up after the cow. I'm off to clean up after the cows and sheep, and then the reptiles. Father, I am glad God has provided for us and all of his animals. There is much work to be done inside the ark. Noah and his family worked together to care for everything. God is with us, and he will continue to provide for us. God has provided well for us. There has been so much rain. I am thankful to be safe here. So his sons and their wives are also on the boat. I don't know if you guys can see their wives over here. And they're marking days off on, I guess, like a wall. They're probably etching it onto a wall to have some sort of reference to know like how long they've been on the boat. One day the rain stops, but the ark still floats above the flooded earth. Land is nowhere in sight. That's what Noah is talking about. Over here, you got a visual representation of the boat. I don't know if you guys can see this, the elephant. And there was all these different channels, lions and so forth. And there was even, look at vegetables and fruits and all that on the bottom. A rainbow promise. A rainbow promise. Ready? Based on Genesis 8 through 10. Months after months, Noah's family waits. So it was 40 days and 40 nights of raining. But guess what? It took months and months for that water to dry up. We've been in this ark for 6 months now. When will we ever see land again? It could be another 6 months. And what will we find when we get out? Finally, the water level begins to drop. The ark comes to a rest on the top of the mountains of Ararat or Ararat. I'll send out a dove. If it doesn't come back, we'll know it has found land. So he sends out a bird. Remember, they took birds and they took land animals. So the fact that birds can fly, remember, they can fly right over the water. So that was kind of smart. The dove disappears from sight. Noah watches the skies. After long hours swirling through the sky, the dove returns. A few days later, Noah sends out the dove again. And again it returns. An olive branch. That means some land must be dry again. 7 days later, Noah sends out a dove for the third time. This time, the bird does not return. It has found a place to nest. Wow, that was really smart, right? So over here, you can see the bird. He just kept sending out the bird. So that's when the bird really, really came in handy. The dove. Noah and his family are anxious to leave the ark. They look every day for signs of dry land. Look, there's land. That's what he says. He yells it. Look, land. A little over a year after the flood started, Noah steps out onto the dry land once more. Only 8 people have survived the flood. Noah, his wife, their 3 sons, and their sons' wives. Wow. So it was Noah, his wife, Noah's 3 sons, so that's 4 men, and their wives. So it was 4 women and 4 men, basically a total of 8 people who restarted population once again. They're all right here, and now all of the animals are coming off of the ark, right? The warm sun on my face, the grass under my feet, it feels wonderful. Oh, ground, how I've missed you. Everything evil is gone. Through us, God is giving human beings a new start. We must obey God and teach everyone who follows us to obey. Here goes that rainbow. Here goes that rainbow. Remember, the first thing Noah does is build an altar. He thanks God for his care and asks God's guidance to help the family make a new start. Then God makes a new wonder in the sky. A rainbow. That's what he says right here. For as long as the earth lasts, there will be time to plant and a time to harvest. There will always be a summer and a winter, day and night, but never again will a flood destroy the whole earth. You hear that, guys? That's God's promise right there. Because I told you that he didn't like the fact that he had to do that. But it was getting really, really, really bad as far as like when the sins, like the sin is when we're referencing sin, he didn't want humans to sin, but humans were going crazy sinning. It's beautiful. God is good. Whenever people see a rainbow, they'll remember God's promise that a flood will never destroy the whole earth again. So next time you see a rainbow, remember God's promise. In the years after the flood, Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and their families moved down to the river valleys. Their families grow larger. In time, the mountains and the plains are dotted with the tents of shepherds, tribesmen, and the rich river valleys with growing cities. So over here, you can see people migrating and whatnot. I don't know if you guys can peep. You see a whole bunch of people. A babbling tower based on Genesis chapter 11, verse 1 through 9. As people from the cities work together, they become proud of the things they can build. They even dream of building a great tower. We'll build a tower high enough to reach the heaven. It will make us famous and powerful. Right there. Right there's the root of evil. Right there's the root of evil. It will make us famous and powerful. It will reach the heavens. Bro, calm down, relax. You don't need to reach the heaven. You don't need to be famous and powerful. Right? You need to stay in your place. A tower that will reach to the heaven, we rule. You see? They're literally trying to like play the creator. Like that's on pride. That's pride. Pride is one of the sins. People can see it for miles. In times of danger, we'll rally our forces around it. No one is going to conquer and scatter us with this tower. We'll be invincible. But God is displeased with the people's quest for fame and power. Look at that. I've never read this book before. I didn't even go to this page. When I was talking about that, I was over here looking at this. I come over here, boom, on this panel. But God is displeased with the people's quest for fame and power to stop their work on the tower because, I'm sorry, and then say because. It says he causes the people to speak in different languages. So let me read that again because I feel like I didn't read that panel correctly. But God is displeased with the people's quest for fame and power. To stop their work on the tower, he causes the people to speak in different languages. Whoa! Mind blowing. So that makes sense. So he's dissatisfied with people trying to become, powerful and all that stuff. So in order to ruin their progress, what does he do? He causes people to speak in different languages. Because guess what? If you speak in different languages, you can't understand one another, right? Right? It's going to be difficult. So he says, you're talking gibberish. How can I work with a man I can't understand? Look at that. How can I work with a man I can understand? So now you got him over here angry because they can't understand each other. Because they can't understand. Yo, I just said that and look what look what the slide says. Because they cannot understand each other, the builders are confused. They stop working on the tower. One by one, families who speak the same language move away. The giant tower called Babel begins to crumble. The Tower of Babel. Different civilizations spring up speaking different languages, and soon the tower is completely forgotten. So I guess that's probably some some foundation in like where like you got the Asian languages, you got the Israelite or Hebrew languages, you got the Spanish languages, you got all these different languages. That's probably like some of the earlier stages of how that started. God's wager based on Job. In a distant land, Job, a man who loves God, has everything he needs. He has 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 1,000 oxen, 500 donkey, and servants to take care of all his needs. He also has a wonderful family, a wife, 7 sons, and 3 daughters. The Lord has blessed me to overflowing. Wow, look at that. Up in heaven, God is proud of his righteous servant, but Satan hates to see a happy ending. I want to say a footnote, guys. This we're 42 pages in, right? Or on page 42. This book is jumping so much. If you want to get into detail of each one of these little stories here, there's a lot of stories just being skipped too. You got to get into a real Bible, like an actual Bible without the illustration. I don't think they will be able to go story by story, page by page here because there's so much to illustrate. They wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, they probably could, but it'll be a much thicker book. So I'm just giving you a heads up because I read the beginning and this is just, it's jumping from like story to story and it's not even really covering it all. So I'm just giving you all that heads up. But this is giving you this is planting the seed. That's what we want to do here. We want to plant the seed. If this intrigues you or sparks your curiosity, then maybe you could purchase a Bible. I actually just bought another Bible like a week ago from the dollar store. It's a cute little Bible. It's like this big, a little tiny one. And I have it in my vehicle. So if I'm out and about and I get inspired to read the word, I will read it. All right. So up in heaven, God is proud of his righteous servant, but Satan hates to see a happy ending. Now, Satan was once an angel up in heaven. I'm going to give you that little context. Satan was an angel in heaven. He was one that was responsible for music, and he was also said to be very attractive. He was a handsome man or a handsome angel, let's say. But the problem with Satan is he had pride, he had ego, and he wanted to be greater than God. He didn't like that everybody respected God. And he wanted to basically be God. That's why he got kicked out of heaven and shunned away. So he hates to see a happy ending. Satan doesn't want to see people happy. Satan doesn't want to see a marriage happy. Satan doesn't want to see a brother and sister happy. Satan doesn't want to see a father and daughter, a mother and father. Satan doesn't want to see friends happy. Satan doesn't want to see peace. He would disturb peace any way he can. He would turn brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters, husbands against wives, wives against husbands, parents against children, children against parents. That's why in the beginning, when you saw Cain and Abel, what happened? Cain killed his own brother. He turned them against each other. And then when you started seeing more civilizations, being brought into existence, what was it? It was animosity. It was fighting. It was killing. It was. I don't even think we got into Sodom and Gomorrah yet, but there's a lot of sin going on, and that's because Satan doesn't want to see a happy ending. So hence, even into this very day, in modern times, in 2025, we all face the battle and the temptation and the serpent slithering and whispering in our ear, which, like, this is mind-blowing to me. This is a side note. This is mind-blowing to me because I've experienced so many things in my lifetime that I didn't understand why, how, or the reasons to why I was experiencing certain things. But that's why it was important for me to read this book, because you got to make your own judgment. You have to make your own educated hypothesis and say, hey, does this all add up? And brothers and sisters, it adds up. It makes complete sense. Job only worships you because you make sure nothing bad ever happens to him. If you didn't give him such riches and blessings, he would turn from you in an instant and curse your name. You think so? Very well, you may test him. Take away his blessings, but do not hurt him. Ooh, this is fire. This touches my heart. You guys don't understand what's happening here, and I'm going to read it again because maybe I'm doing too many sound effects that you guys can't understand what's happening here. Job, right here. This is God's wager. Job is living it up. Job got family, sheep, oxen, kids, grandkids. Job is living in paradise, right? But right here, Satan is saying, Job only worships you because nothing as bad has ever happened to him. If you didn't give him riches and blessings, guess what? He's going to curse your name. So God says, this is God over here in the seat. So that's what you think? Very well. You may test him. Take away his blessings, but do not hurt him. You see? Because Satan thought that the only reason why Job was praising God was because everything was perfect. So he said, and remember this, Satan must always go to God to test you. Satan can test you 1,001 times, 1,001 times, right? God's going to allow him to test you, but he must ask God to test you because God believes that you're going to choose the right path. God believes in you. God trusts you. Now, whether you choose the right path or not, that's your will. That's your free will, right? So I like this because this is a story of life right here. Job's focusing on God. Job's giving everything to God. But guess what? Job's about to start losing things. You ready? This is when the story gets crazy. Satan wastes no time in striking Job with catastrophe. One day, a messenger comes to Job. The Sabines attacked. They stole the oxen, the donkeys, and killed the people working in your fields. I'm the only one who escaped. What is the first thing that Job loses? His donkeys, his oxens, all killed. And the people who used to work for him, killed. Next, the same moment, another messenger arrives. Lightning struck the sheep and the shepherds. They're all dead. I'm the only one who escaped. He just lost his sheep and the shepherds. Then a third messenger comes. The Chaldeans raided the camels and killed the camel drivers. I'm the only one who escaped. Yo, he's losing everything. One by one by one. You ready? Yet another messenger arrives with the bad news. Your oldest son's house collapsed, killing all of your children. I'm the only one who escaped. Job is losing everything. Job is saddened by the loss of his property and livestock, but he is devastated at the death of his children. He shaves off all of his hair in grief and rips his clothes to tatters, but he does not blame God for his misfortune. I came into this world with nothing, and I will leave it with nothing. God gave and God took away. Praise be to God. This is him right here. He's losing it all, guys, but he still has not shunned God's name. See, Satan? He is a better man than you thought. That's what God's telling Satan. Well, sure, since I didn't do anything to him or his health, but no one praises God when they're sick. Ooh, so you think? Ruin his health then. If you think that will have any effect on his righteousness, this righteous man, but do not kill him. So God just gave the okay. God gave the go ahead. God said, go ahead. Affect his health. So guess what? This is Job over here. Satan immediately returns to earth and strikes Job with terrible open sores from head to foot. He curses Job with insomnia. And when Job does sleep, Satan terrifies him with nightmares. God can't keep his food. I'm sorry, I said God. Job can't keep his food down and loses so much weight. He can hardly move. So guess what, guys? Job lost all his cattle, all his farm stuff, all his workers, all his people, all his shepherds. His sons died. He has no kids. He's sick. He has cold sores, open sores everywhere. He can't eat. He can't hold the food down. Still, Job does not complain. But, you ready? You ready? But his wife, everything we owned and everything we loved is gone. Surely this disease will kill you. You should just curse God and die. Job looks at his wife, right? Job looks at his wife out of painful, bleared eyelids. Don't be a fool. We cannot accept the good things from God without also accepting the bad. So far, from the Adam and Eve story to the Job story, it seems like the woman sometimes ends up being the weakest link, which is crazy, right? How that's not funny. But like she's like basically what she's telling him is his wife is telling him, why don't you curse God? Why don't you curse God? And he's like, no, we can't be a fool. We cannot accept the good things. Remember, because he blessed them. If you look all the way up here in this scene, they were living in paradise. But you come down here and look at him. He's suffering. But even when he's suffering, he's saying, we cannot be fools. We must still. So through the good and through the bad, you must always thank God. So in the next scene, when Job's friends hear about his troubles, they come to sit with him in the garbage dump at the edge of town. The disease has affected Job so strongly. You ready? His friends almost don't even recognize him. For 7 days, no one speaks. They just sit together with their friend. Finally, after a week, Job breaks out with a cry of grief. I have done nothing wrong. Why is God letting all these terrible things happen to me? Eliphaz is shocked at Job's harsh question. Now, don't get upset, Job, but from whenever, I'm sorry. Now, don't get upset, Job, but from everything I've seen, God doesn't punish innocent people. You must have done something wrong. But I haven't sinned. And even if I have, God knows my heart and will forgive me. But Bildad is not convinced. It sounds like you're blaming God for being unfair, Job. I'm sorry, but if your kids were killed, it's because they must have deserved it. You have a chance to confess your sins. You should take it. So this dude over here, Bildad, is like saying, dude, the only reason why you're going through this is because you must have sinned. But Job is saying, I would confess my sins if God would come and tell me what I have had done wrong. Job's insistence that he is innocent offends the third friend, Zophar. You windbag. You don't know anything about God. You stubbornly insist that you have done no wrong when the only thing that can save you is to apologize to God for your sins. Some friends, you do not comfort me at the worst time of my life. You think you speak for God? I only wish he would come speak for himself. Even if he killed me, I would trust him. All right, let me read this again because I feel like I read it like a douche. You ready? Some friends you do not comfort me at my worst time of my life. You think you speak for God? I only wish he would come and speak for himself. Even if he killed me, I would trust in him. Even as Job speaks, God suddenly comes to him in a storm. So here's a big storm. Stand up. Stand up on your feet like a man. I will question you, Job, and you will answer me. You think you know so much, Job? Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Have you ever commanded the morning to come? Do you show the sun where to rise? Can you unite the ropes that hold the stars together? Can you rule over the magnificent creatures I have created? I am in charge of the universe. I am in charge of everything that exists. You cannot understand my ways. You cannot know the greater good I desire for you. Your place is to simply trust me. You have to trust in me. In reply to God's speech, Job falls to his knees. I spoke about things I didn't understand. Forgive me. After this, God heals Job. He gives him twice as many animals as he had lost, and he gives him 10 more children. Job lives for a long time after this. So you see this, guys? That was a test from Satan. Satan wanted to test him. And no matter what, Job stood strong, and Job didn't blame God. God caused the Abram. All right, guys. So I'm gonna turn this. Let me I'm gonna need some sort of bookmark. Give me 1 second, guys. Because now we're gonna close up. Bookmark. I don't have a bookmark, but you know what I can put right here for right now? I can put a coaster. I can put a coaster for right now until I find a bookmark. Give me a second, guys. Let me Woo. What's up, guys? Greetings. I'm sorry, guys. I neglected you guys for quite some time. I got Jersey behind me. I got Jersey right here. Come on, Philly. Come on, girly girl. Come on, girly girl. You kiss next to me. You kiss. Good girl. Thank you. All right, guys. Fonwa, sending positive vibes to you and Jersey, Toon. Thank you very much, Rick Quinones. Real food back then, right? Young Rider. Love this content, fam. First video I seen of you was the grill video. Praise Jesus. Thank you, bro. Appreciate that, Young Rider. Appreciate the support. Danielle, the mod from God. What's cracking, Danielle? Greetings, man. JB. What's good, sir? JB, the man, the myth, the legend. Salute, JB. Super Spy. You got Super Spy in the house. What's up, Super Spy? Danielle, if you would like to support the channel, you're always welcome. Cash App, thank you very kindly, Miss Danielle. I appreciate you, girl. Hope you're doing well. All the little squirrels and squirrelettes and all that stuff. Anything with Super Spy, I hope you and the dogs and the deers and all that stuff in your yard and the rabbits are doing well. Same thing with Mr. JB. I hope Ash is doing well. I hope your sons, your grandsons, and all that's doing well. Yo, JB, did you check the Hot Wheels video, bro? You gotta check it out, bro. The city came to life. Danilo Acevedo. Yo, what's up, bro? Danilo, my guy Danilo. This is awesome, bro. Thank you very kindly, Mr. Nilo. My brother from another mother, man. Hope you're doing well, Nilo. And hope your son, you got more than one son? No, you got a son and a daughter, right? I hope your kids are well, bro. Tess. Elon, what's up, Elon? Pooch, what's up, Pooch? Elon, hey, Toon. I love Bible study. I go to Bible study every Tuesday. That's awesome. So speaking of every Tuesday, right? So I know today's Monday. I kind of wanted to. So let me give you guys a little synopsis. I've been hearing this voice in my head telling me to execute this Bible study, right? But I've been battling my own trials and tribulations. I've been overcoming my own obstacles and hurdles, right? And I originally wanted to do this on Saturday. That's when I originally was going to do it. That was during the Holy Sabbath. I no longer conduct business. Over the last couple months, I no longer conduct business on Saturdays. I've conducted business my whole entire life on every other Saturday. My whole entire life, I conducted business on Saturdays, y'all. I always used to try to make $1 on a Saturday. But in order to honor this, I no longer make $1 on a Saturday. Even if it means I have to sacrifice, right? No fret, don't fear. Our Holy Father is going to help me find a way. So this past Saturday was the original day that I wanted to start the Bible study. But things came up. I lost motivation. And I didn't do it. For whatever reason. There's no excuses. Today is Monday. It's a new day. It's a new day to try again. It's a new day to redeem myself. It's a new day to repent. It's a new day to become a better person. And there was a message sent to me today that basically reminded me that I have a divine mission, a mission that's greater than myself. I can't fear. I can't worry about, how will it, come to fruition? How will I execute it? I can't worry about the results. All I know is that I was given a voice, right? I was once told that I have the gift of gab. I was given passion. I was given the ability to articulate myself in one way or another. So I believe this mission was granted to me to fulfill for some purpose out there. Maybe one of you need to hear these messages. Maybe I need to hear this message. But whatever the purpose is, I want to continue doing this Bible study until this is completely done, right? So we just started it. What days do you guys think would be good to do Bible studies? I'm thinking 2 days a week. I'm willing to dedicate at least 2 days a week to Bible study. I feel like Monday is such an odd day, but on the same string, from the same note, this is the day that I started. This is the day that motivation kicked in. This is the day that God wanted me to do it. Listen, I didn't do it Saturday. Maybe God said, no, Saturday is not good. Today's the day. So we started on a Monday, right? Mondays and Wednesdays? Mondays and Thursdays? What y'all thinking? I mean, I only got a couple people here. It's not really a lot of people here. JB, way to go. Great reading with voices. Thank you, bro. I try, bro. I kind of be stuttering. You know, I kind of suck sometimes. I be stuttering, and then like these glasses don't do me justice because these are just cheap dollar. These are dollar store glasses, bro. So they're like good for like reading, but like to an extent. And then I got the cataract implants. So you know, one's a close up, one's a what. Man, my reading vision is all jacked up. So I kind of try to make it work, but yeah. Janella Rosado, where are you going? Oh, when are you going to be reading some more? What's up, Janella Rosado? Greetings, man. So that's what I'm talking to you guys about. I would love to know what days would be convenient to do Bible study. What do you guys think I should do? So I already started Mondays. I mean, this is the first week, so I could change it up next week. Should I do like Tuesdays and Thursdays? Mondays and Wednesdays? Let me know. And is the time frame good? Like starting when we started, I think we started a little late. We started like 7:15, 7:20 or something. We were streaming for an hour and 22 minutes. I started reading the Bible an hour and 12 minutes ago. I have my stop clock on. I can stop it now. I wanted it to be what, an hour Bible study? Do you think an hour was fine? I mean, I only got 5 people in the chat right now. So I don't know how much feedback I'm going to get from 5 people. I don't know how much feedback I'm going to get. But I don't know. I'm thinking Mondays and Wednesdays or Tuesdays. I don't know. I feel like Monday's such an awkward day to do Bible study. This is cool as an introduction, but maybe Tuesday. I feel like Tuesdays and Thursdays are more appropriate. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, whoever sees this video after it's made public, after we end the live stream, you guys can feel free to tap in, leave a comment in the comment section. Today's Monday the 7th, right? So today's the 7th. Yeah, today's the 7th. April 7th, 2025. Yeah, guys. So the moral of the stream is when God gives you an assignment, you'll know it because you'll feel it in your heart. You'll feel it in your stomach. It'll just keep repeating in your head like a record player. You got to follow your gut. And you got to do it now. You don't got to do it tomorrow. You see? You got to do it now. You got to jump on that feeling. You got to meet God halfway. Sometimes you got to follow the road ahead and you don't know what the path holds. You know, when you drive at night and you're driving on a dark road, you can't see that road, that windy, long road, right? You just trust that the rest of the road is there, right? It's dark. You only can see about 100, 200, 300 feet from your headlight or your high beams, right? When you walk up the steps, you take the next step knowing that it's there, right? You got to have faith. But then again, faith without work is meaningless. So you got to meet God halfway. So this is me meeting God halfway. I don't know what the end of this holds, but I just know it's a learning experience for myself because I went 30 something plus years without reading this book right here, right? Remember, If you guys missed the beginning of the study, I got this Bible when I was like 15. Right? That's when I got my hands on the Bible. 15, 16 years old. I'm 36 now. I'll be 37 next month. Right? So it's never too late. It's never too late. All right, ladies and gentlemen, looks like everybody tapped out. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. Holy Toon. There's going to be a lot more coming from Holy Toon. If you guys aren't familiar with the social handles, you got Toon Be Chillin' on TikTok. I've been creating content there regularly. I've been migrating some of the content from TikTok to YouTube. Then we have the main YouTube channel, Toon 215. I did I think like 2 tours last month. Some small towns. I'll probably do another tour this week or so of a small town. Yeah, guys. Check out that Tooniverse Hot Wheels trailer that I released. I want to start dropping those too. I dropped the teaser. I dropped the trailer. But I'm going to let that marinate for the next 2-3 weeks. My birthday's next month, so yeah. It's going to be an interesting month. I got this weird gut feeling. It's like a weird knot in my stomach. I can't really explain it to you guys. But you gotta have faith, right? Thank you all for watching. Stay blessed. God bless you all. Let us all have a wonderful night, wonderful future, wonderful journey ahead of ourselves. Pay attention to my community posts if you can, because I think I'm going to try to communicate with you guys through the community posts as far as like the timing and the scheduling of this stuff. Because this was completely abrupt today. Like I said, I just knew I had to do it. That's it, guys. That's it. That's enough of my spiel. I just knew I had to do it. I'll iron out all the details as we go. But this is the very first Bible study. My concern was how I was going to get you guys to see the visuals. I'm hoping you guys got a chance to see the visuals. I'm hoping testing. I'm hoping the audio was good. I am wearing a microphone. I'm hoping the lighting was fair. I do have a light over here. I do have a light over here. You know what I mean? So I'm trying. I'm kind of like in my little book corner over here. You know what I mean? I got the doggies over here. But yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your homeboy Holy Toon. Hope you guys all have a blessed night. Thank you for joining me. What shall be must be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm tuning out. Holy Toon. I'm Ghost. Literally, right?